The discovery is a nightmare for those who believe our brains are biologically identical. It shows that the new variants of the gene are not found in all of us.
This particular variant in ASPM that we believe has been the subject of strong positive selection is more prevalent in the Caucasian population and less so in East Asians and Africans and also the New World.
However, the new variants of ASPM don't seem to make their bearers smarter. Their IQ tests are not above average. But the new ASPM gene should have entailed some kind of advantage. Scientists have found that they're a result of selection, not of what is known as genetic drift. Evolution proceeds sort of like a boat on an ocean of DNA. Since the gene pool is constantly affected by random mutations, no species is ever stationary. A certain type of gene can prevail within a population, not because it entails any specific advantage, but simply because its bearers, for various reasons, are more fertile than others. This random type of evolution is called genetic drift and makes the gene boat move forward, albeit not toward any specific goal. But mutations can also spread because of the survival advantage that they entail. This is called selection and can be symbolized by raising a sail that makes the gene boat move in a certain direction. And geneticists have learned to separate the two types of evolution.
When there's very strong selection on a new genetic form, then the selection drives the new variant through the population. And so from evolutionary theory, we know what that signature looks like. And so we can scan across the genome and look for parts of the genome that show that.
Bruce Lahn thinks we'll have to be prepared to find more discrepancies in important genes among the people of this planet due to selective processes.
From an evolutionary point of view, that's how evolution occurs. Evolution doesn't occur equally. Evolution is not egalitarian. We will find a lot of genes in the human genome that are subject to recent selection. And out of those genes, I suspect that a fair number of them would be related to brain function.
The genetic differences between us may be leveled out in the future. Of all possible evolutionary scenarios, one is more likely than all the others.
One of the things I like about living in London, which is now the most international city in the world, is that actually we are a microcosm of what human evolution is going to be like. And what's interesting is to see among young people what I like to call the healing power of lust. In other words, they have sex with each other. It doesn't really matter what their skin colors are. It doesn't really matter where they come from. It's evolution towards an average. It's not an evolution towards difference, which is what it always used to be.
Well, the effect is we're all becoming more like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, the golfer, describes himself as Cablinasian because he's Caucasian, black, and Asian. He has ancestors from all over the world. So that is the new world we're creating.
But there are also indications of a diametrically opposite future scenario. New reproductive techniques might increase the genetic gap between us.
This is backstage. You can walk down this way. Watch your steps, please.
This is Yuri Valinsky. He's the head of a fertility clinic that's at the vanguard of a technique that may, in the future, change the path of evolution.
We are one of pioneering centers in the world who perform pre-implantation genetic diagnosis for more than 170 different disorders, more than 200 different mutations. So by now we did and more than 1,000 baby born free of disease. You can see this here. This is the babies.
People come to the Reproductive Genetic Institute to get help with having children. But it's no ordinary artificial insemination clinic. The children born here have all been genetically screened to avoid hereditary diseases.
We're looking for mutant genes, for mutant or some abnormal, if it's embryo normal or abnormal. But before we do this, we do biopsy, and I will show you where we do biopsy.
The embryos are screened for hundreds of hereditary diseases. Those with defective genes are filtered out, while the healthy ones eventually become children.
We select embryo for any genetic disease what can be diagnosed in a single cell.
The clinic screens for an ever-increasing number of diseases.
Oh yes, it is growing list. It's progressively increasing 30% every year. Because of the Genome Project, now it's about 6,000 different diseases related to molecular abnormality.
Wilinski is used to being on the news. He's used his PGD technique to perform a number of ethically controversial embryo screenings. Little Adam Nash was picked to donate stem cells to his long-suffering older sister, Molly. Wilinski has also produced children who are free from diseases that develop late in life, such as Alzheimer's.
Maybe in the future, things what you're asking will not be so questionable, because people want to be healthier. If we can enhance health of the people by doing something, why not?
It's unlikely that this technique will ever be available for everyone on this planet. But in the richest countries, it may become commonplace for parents-to-be to have some sort of genetic counselling to ensure the quality of their offspring. And during the screening process to find the optimal embryo, desirable characteristics may be added. Some people around us are evolutionary top models, individuals with genetic profiles that enable them to accomplish extraordinary things. These characteristics might be attractive to acquire for oneself or one's children, once the genes involved have been localized. This is Dean Konazes, out on his daily run.
A usual day at work for me is I get up about 4 in the morning, and I like to run 20 to 30 kilometers early in the morning. And then I like to go for maybe a shorter, faster run in the afternoon, maybe 10 to 15 kilometers of what you call speed work to improve my speed. I love to run, I love adventure, and I just said, I'm going to make a living doing this somehow.
A couple of years ago, aged 43, he did something that even the most stubborn endurance athletes considered humanly impossible.
I ran 50 marathons in every U.S. state in 50 straight days. So a marathon per day, per state. And I just took it one day at a time. And surprisingly, my body actually got stronger over the course of 50 days. The final marathon, which was the New York City Marathon, was my strongest or my fastest marathon, which I ran in 3 hours and 30 seconds. So after 49 marathons, I turned in my fastest, strongest time.
And this is German Rüdiger Gamm, who discovered that he had a unique ability for mental calculation.
7.312 mal 4.219.
30 Millionen 49.328. 2. Most of the friends were frightened of this ability because it was something that is not normal. I can see them, I can memorize them, I see them as a line of numbers in front of my eyes, and then I can read these numbers. If I do higher numbers, I put them together from parts of numbers, and then I also can read them.
94 hoch 19.
30 Sextillionen, 862 Quintilliarden, 366 Quintillionen, 77 Quadrilliarden, 815 Quadrillionen, 87 Trilliarden, 592 Trillionen, 879 Billiarden, 16 Billionen, 454 Milliarden, 695 Millionen, 419.904.